Welcome to John Ellis Sports Channel, and it's League One predictions taken with your predictions, a little bit of form, and then we give you our idea after it. Yes, I've repeated it again. We're into week 42. Wow, we're in the home run. We know who's expected to go down now, don't we? We're going to start with 16th place Wimbledon and 11th place Luton Town. Of course, these two are pretty much not going anywhere at the minute. I mean, 58 points for Luton Town. Yes, only 4 points away from. 62 points for 62 points for Reading in 6th. So they're not out of it, but there's a lot of teams there. That's the issue, isn't it? The number of teams. Wimbledon, of course, did really well after a rough start, I think. But they did absolutely excellent. Run of the green, brilliant, did super well. And then it's just dropped off, hasn't it? With a win, lose, lose, draw, lose, lose. Last two times, a Stockport defeat, 3-0 away from home. Now Lincoln City, 1-0 defeat away from home. And actually that, for me, 88 minutes they stood off with this one. 88 minutes. Doesn't it just show you that although, Wimbledon had one shot on target, and this is it. Just if you park the bus, will it work? Well, 8 shots for Lincoln City at home, 4 of them on target. And, the Wimbledon side, it was almost 50-50 play. They only had a couple of percent less, Wimbledon, but, they did well. They really did. So 1-0 defeat, you have to think of that as almost like a win. Luton, not Lincoln. Luton, lose, draw, win, win, draw, win. They do seem to have turned it round. Wins against Wycombe Wanderers, Exeter and Peterborough last time out with a draw against Stockport County 1-1. You see, so they've played, and they played them at home. So, they played the same team, these two sides. Wimbledon losing 3-0 away and Luton drawing 1-1 at home. So Peterborough last time out for Luton Town, and Luton Town 2, Peterborough 1. Consolation goal there for Peterborough. It was fair. It was a fair result, I think, that one. Luton had 17 shots, 6 on target, 2 in the net. Peterborough had 10 shots, 3 on target, 1 in the net. But Peterborough actually kept the ball more. Just didn't quite get past that back end of Luton Town. Enough for me. So what are you thinking with this game? With Wimbledon Luton, you're thinking 1-1, 2-0, 1-1, 0-0 and 1-3. Now that's 1-1, 1-1, 1-1 and a 0-0. I'm going to go with you lot. I'm going to go Wimbledon 1, Luton 1. Yeah, let's agree with that one as we go to the next game, which is Barnsley versus Plymouth Argyle. Barnsley in 13th, Plymouth Argyle in 9th now, and they can smell that place, can't they? And they have been improving. Barnsley been going the opposite direction, of course. Win, draw, 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 lose, draw for Barnsley. They seem to have concentrated on not losing. 1-1, 2-2, 1-1, 0-1 against Doncaster, losing there at home, and a 1-1 against Burton. So, who are the draws against? Cardiff City. Wow, brilliant draw there. Mansfield 2-2, a Wigan 1-1. And they've been playing slightly better again recently to try and get out of that bottom zone. And Burton 1-1. That was actually a little bit drab for me. That Barnsley game against Burton for me was, 90 minutes equaliser by Barnsley. And realistically, I actually think Burton will have been going away the more upset at not winning that one. Plymouth Argyle, though, listen to this. Win, draw against Reading, win, and a defeat against Bolton Wanderers, 2-1 last time out. They are actually doing quite well. Okay, the wins aren't against the best of teams. Doncaster 2-1, Wigan 3-0, Stevenage 1-0, and a Huddersfield, though, 3-1. And their form's dropped off, though. So it's Plymouth Argyle's winning. But is it just because of who they're playing? But there again, Barnsley haven't been playing that greater sides either. So what are you thinking with this game? Barnsley-Plymouth, 1-2, 1-1, 2-3. That's interesting. I can't see Barnsley. I mean, they might get 2. 1-2, 0-2, and 1-1. It's a case of can Plymouth. I think Plymouth can just win this one. 2 draws, 2 1-2s. I'm going to go with Barnsley 1, Plymouth 2. And we'll go to Bolton versus Stockport next. Bolton in 3rd place, Stockport in 5th. Both of these sides need to keep this up, especially Stockport. You know, we're not completely in there. We're 66 points, 4 points clear of 6th place and 5 points clear of 7th. If they can win this, surely to God they're gonna be pretty safe for a playoff position. So we're going with Bolton versus Stockport next. Bolton with win-win, draw-draw, lose-win. Port Vale, of course, up with that enthusiasm from getting into the winning that FA Cup game, didn't they? And their players been lifted just a little bit, and they have been playing better. But this Bolton side lost 1-0 away to Port Vale. They then won against an improving Plymouth side, we've just said, 2-1. So Plymouth. Plymouth 1, Bolton 2. Of course, John McAtee got sent off on 43 for Bolton. But the game really, I think it maintained its rhythm all the way through. I actually don't think it made much of a difference. Plymouth really ran this one. Did they? You know, they should have won it. They really should have won it. They'll have been coming away thinking, the game all the way through for me was Plymouth, but the penalty just sort of turned it, didn't it? And they seemed to get a little bit of a spark, Bolton, just for a little while, just long enough to get 2 goals, and they ended up winning it. Hey, you know, that's what it's about, the run of the green, and Bolton got the run of the green in this one. Plymouth Argyle feeling pretty downhearted on that one. So what about Stockport County? Win, lose, win, draw, win, win, and they have been doing well. And it's not just against the bottom sides. This is the point. They drew against Luton and they lost against Lincoln City. So, you know, you can see they're not losing points against bad sides. Win was against Doncaster, Northampton, Wimbledon and Wickham. A range of good, bad and the ugly. I'm not saying which one's which. They didn't play Rotherham, so it's not them. So this is going to be an interesting one because we know Bolton can score. Got the run of the green against Plymouth. Will that get that enthusiasm for a home game? You know, they've had 2 away games, Port Vale and Plymouth, and come away with 3 points. So what are you thinking for Bolton Stockport then? 1-2, 2-0, 1-2, 1-1, 2-2 and 2-1. I'm going to go with somebody there, and I'm going to go, I think it's pretty split, isn't it? You really are split. I'm going to go with 1 or 2 of my subscribers, and I'm going to go Bolton 2, Stockport 1. So we'll go with that one there at the end. Stockport just being nibbled out here by a side that can score, and at home with that crowd, absolutely get behind them because they need this one, because Stockport are going to be gunning to get away from that 7th place, aren't they? Exeter in 21st versus Doncaster in 17th as we go to the next game. And of course, Exeter just wanting to get out of that bottom end, aren't they? 21st, they kept going into it, back out of it. Exeter lose, draw, lose. And you've got to think that those last 3 games, look, go to the one before the last 3 games. Luton Town, 3-2 away defeat. What a game. They didn't play badly. They absolutely didn't. Wigan lost. They lost to Wigan away 2-0. I think that was the really one, the one that hit the mental attitude quite badly. Orient 0-0. I don't think either team did well there at all. Blackpool 1-0, Blackpool 1, Exeter 0, and this Exeter side did very little for me. Blackpool should have walked away with this 2-3-4-0. However, they just couldn't get shots on target. The Exeter side did make a good meal of that defence. So Exeter's defence does seem to be holding up. I know they've let 3 in against Luton and 4 against Cardiff, but look who they are. Doncaster then, what about them? Draw, win, lose. Remember though that who have they won? They've won Blackpool 2-1. They've won Barnsley 1-0, and they won Port Vale 1-0. Not exactly the best teams in the league. However, that does include a 0-0 against Bolton, who can score, and Luton Town, who certainly can score. Last time out, though, Mansfield, it was Doncaster 0, Mansfield 2. Doncaster had 0 shots on target here. 10 shots, 0 on target. Mansfield had 8 shots, 3 on target, 2 in the net. Look, on a different day, it might have been 0-0, especially with Mansfield, but it wasn't, and Mansfield came away with the points. So Exeter versus Doncaster, I think, is going to be a little bit difficult to judge. I think, personally, Doncaster may just have the edge here. And Exeter's hearts and minds have just sunk a little bit too much. What do you think? Exeter, Doncaster, 0-1, 1-1, 1-3, 0-1, 1-1, and 0-2. 2 of you say that score. I'm going to go Exeter 0, Doncaster 1. And we'll go to the next game, which is Leyton Orient in 15th, Huddersfield in 10th. I just want to go to the table there because 10th place is 58 points. 6th place is 62. But there's 1, 2, 3. There's 3 teams in between them: Stevenage, Wycombe, and Plymouth. All of those sides can be said to be capable of getting that 6th slot. Of course, 5th place Stockport are thinking, we need to just keep that gap, don't they? Leyton Orient then win, draw. Last 2, Exeter 0-0 draw. And a Wigan 0-0 draw. Wigan 0, Orient 0. What are the facts here? Orient really should have won this one, shouldn't they? I mean, it was a boring game for me. Didn't like it. Orient had most of the possession. They had a lot better passing as well. They really did have better passing. 9 shots, 5 on target, none in the net. They'll have been gutted. Wigan, though, 13 shots, none on target. Obviously not in the net. And that does show you that Orient, that they did have plenty of shots, this Orient side, but they just couldn't do anything with it. Is that a downside? Is it a positive for Wigan's defence? Who knows? Do give me a comment down below. Huddersfield then really did do well at the beginning. They just seem to be a bit haphazard of late. Lose, win, draw, lose, draw. But that 2-2 draw against Lincoln City, what a game. Where did it come from? Good game. Enjoyed it. Then we get the Plymouth game, 3-1 defeat. That team's not the same team. It really isn't. And then last time out, 90 plus 6 minutes equaliser for Huddersfield. How? Yes, 90 plus 6, and it was Huddersfield 1, Reading 1. And actually, if you really want to be honest, it should have been 2 or 3-1 to Huddersfield. It was a good game. I enjoyed it, but it was mainly Huddersfield. Reading seemed to get that penalty and then just, that's it. Shut up shop. And after that, it was the whole game. 2 shots on target from Reading, 1 in the net. They got the point. Which is 6th place. You really do need to be pushing it in that position. No, you're not just settling for a point. Did they try and keep it for a win? Well, they nearly did, didn't they? 90 plus 6, but hey. Is that what they tried? 90 plus 6 minutes to lose it would have been absolutely gutting, wouldn't it? Especially if we're in 6th place. So, Leyton Orient versus Huddersfield, of course. Leyton Orient, Huddersfield, 15th versus 10th. This is actually going to be hard for me because I think that Huddersfield, with all those draws, 3 draws out of 4, will they make it 5? Because remember, Leyton Orient also 2 draws in their last 2, 0-0 and 0-0. Whereas obviously Huddersfield's been score draws. So 2-1, 2-0, 1-2, 0-0 and 1-2 and 1-1. Oh lordy dordy. I'm actually going to be swayed by the majority of you lot here, so it's all on your heads, not mine. Not mine, remember. Leyton Orient 1, Huddersfield 2, and I'm going to go on to the next game, which is Mansfield in 12th, Burton in 19th. Now, this is an interesting game because Mansfield, for both teams, Mansfield have been good. Then they were sort of like meh, and now they've started to play some really good football for me. We start with a defeat against Arsenal, 2-1 at home. Hey, great game. I think they took the foot off the gas, but they didn't. Wow, 2-1. So lose, win, draw, win, win. Last 2 games, they've scored 6 goals, this Mansfield team. Northampton, 4-1 thumping at home. And Doncaster, 2-0 win away. This side has suddenly started to be able to put the ball in the net. Something that my subscribers have said has been a little bit awry for the last season and a half. The stats for that Doncaster game, well, it shows that Mansfield's defence was bloody solid. No shots on target for Doncaster. They did try 10 times to get a shot off, but hey, it never went on target. Mansfield, though, 8 shots, 3 on target, 2 in the net. And that's the sort of figures that you need. You know, if you get in there and have a shot, there's a damn good chance it's in the net for Mansfield. So Burton, who are they playing? Lose, win, lose, win, lose, draw. Last time out, it was Barnsley. Burton won, Barnsley won. Realistically, Burton should have won this one. Burton will have been gutted. 5 shots on target, 1 in the net. Both having 11 shots in total. Barnsley, 2 shots on target, 1 in the net. Like I said, if you can get most of your goals that are fired off on target in the net, it's going to get you more points, and that's where Barnsley got this point from Burton. So Doncaster versus Mansfield versus Burton. I'm looking at the history. Mansfield versus Burton. Oh, get with it, John. Get with it. Mansfield, Burton, 12th, 19th. Who do I think? I think Mansfield have got the edge here. I really do. They also have more goals in them at the minute, which I think is critically important. Mansfield, Burton, 2-2, 2-1, 1-2, 1-0, 1-0, 2-1. I'm going to go with you again. I will go with you. That's assuming Mansfield will let one in. Mansfield 2, Burton 1. We will agree. It could be 2-0. Could be 2-0, but I'm going to go with you lot as we go to 23rd place Northampton and 20th place Wigan Athletic. Now, this is a game at the bottom, isn't it? Because this is a game that Wigan have to win, and they have been getting some good points, as one of my subscribers said the other week. Northampton lose. Will it be another defeat in a row? Because I've said that they could just pass Rotherham United by the end of the season, but it doesn't look like that's happening. Mansfield defeat 4-1, followed by a Bradford defeat. Only 1-0 away, though, which was really, really good. They let a goal in from Stephen Humphries, we know him, on 14 minutes. And he, after that, Bradford seemed to just, and they've done this regular, just play out the game. They do the minimum to get the points, and somebody said to me this a couple of days ago, you got the score right. In fact, it was yesterday, wasn't it? Somebody texted me and said, yeah, or commented, yeah, you've got that one right. The Bradford, we may be dull. It may be not the game type that you like, John, but we got the points and you got it right. Yes, I don't like the style. I really don't. But I tell you what, who cares? Yes, you're right. The person who said it, the person who commented, I would give everything to swap with you lot, even with that game style. Getting the points, that's what matters. So Bradford, 18 shots, 7 on target and 1 in the net. It's a little bit haphazard for me yet, but if they could get that style at the front just neat enough, that would be a side equal to the top 2, wouldn't it? So playing Northampton, and they played Northampton in this game. So Northampton, how did they cope with that sort of brilliance of just doing the minimum to get the points? Well, they had 11 shots, 1 on target, none in the net. So they weren't out at this game. And that's what I've seen with this Northampton side. They're losing, but they don't seem to ever be out of the game. I don't think the Mansfield 4-1 score was particularly a 4-1 defeat if you actually look at the game. I didn't think so. So how about Wigan? Lose, win, draw, win, lose, draw. You wouldn't think that they'd be down where they are. You really wouldn't. 20th position. And this side is if they can get a win here, I think they're pretty much safe. I really do. If you look at the table, Wigan in 20th. They've got 4 teams below them. They're on 46. If they can get 49, they're safe. Exeter are on 43. Rotherham are on 37. They're never going to catch them in a million. In fact, they're probably impossible to catch them. It really is impossible. So there's only one team that they won them a couple of games ago, didn't they? So yeah, it's really one of those games where Wigan winning this that's it, we're safe, and the fans will be so it'll be euphoria, wouldn't it, for Wigan. So what do we think? Will Wigan stay in League One? Northampton, Wigan 0-0, 0-2, 3-1, 0-1, 0-0, and a 0-3. Oh my God. I just can't see it being a 0-0. I can't see it being a 0-0. Northampton can fall apart, but then they can do some really good defensive work. This. I can't even go with you lot. You've not given me anything, have you? What's the odd? What's the main lot? Most of you are going with Wigan. I'll go with that. Northampton 0, Wigan 2. I really don't have a clue on that one. This is all down to you lot. I'll go with I'll go with the majority, which seem to be going with a Wigan win. I haven't got a clue. I really haven't. I'm sorry. Give me your comments down below and tell me what you think. If you were on here, what would you have said? Peterborough in 14th, Cardiff in 2nd, and this is interesting. I'll tell you for why when we go to Cardiff's form here. Peterborough, draw, lose, win, draw, lose. They won Rotherham 5-0. And to be honest, I don't think they played that well. We just didn't even turn up. But the last game there was Luton Town 2, Peterborough 1. And they got a consolation from Jay Morgan on 75 minutes. But for me, Luton Town were strolling this one. They were strolling it. They just let Peterborough have the ball a little bit too often, a little bit too much. I mean, Peterborough had 56% possession here. And it showed only a little bit, but it showed because Luton kept giving the ball away. Just in the odd place where you're thinking, shouldn't have done that. But Peterborough didn't, and this is the important thing, Peterborough didn't make them pay for it. Peterborough 10 shots, 3 on target, 1 in the net. Good day out. Luton Town have 17 shots, 6 of them on target, 2 in the net. A championship side this, and it's in League One. It should be cooking those 6 shots on target. You should be getting 3, 4, at least 3 of those shots should have been in the back of the net. So that's what worries me about that Luton side. Cardiff City, though, draw, win, lose, draw, win, lose, draw. That means it's going to be a win, doesn't it, guys? Blackpool last time out. Blackpool last time. They won Exeter 4-0. Then they lost to Wickham 2-0. It's weird, isn't it? And then Blackpool, we get 0-0. And Cardiff 0, Blackpool 0. And I'm looking at this thinking, when are Cardiff going to score? 26 shots, almost 80% possession. Blackpool might as well not have been on the pitch, guys. I mean, this really was that bad. But Blackpool did have 6 shots, and they did have 1 on target. Hey, if that had gone in the net, wouldn't that be a euphoria for the Blackpool fans? But Blackpool's defence was stupendous. I mean, at the end of the day, the goalkeeping and the defence were brilliant. You have to say that. Because Cardiff can score. They scored 4 against Exeter just 2 games earlier. For God's sake, where's the rightness in that? 0-0. Cardiff fans going home thinking, what the hell happened there? Peterborough versus Cardiff. Are they letting any in, Cardiff? See, they're not letting any in, especially at home. But the last time they let one in was 1-1 against Barnsley, and 2. Wickham, wasn't it? 2. The last time they let one in was 2 against Wickham at home. So that's really quite rare at home. Then the 1 at Barnsley, and then letting in 2 at Lincoln. So they are letting in 1 or 2. What are you saying for Peterborough, Cardiff? 2-1, 1-1, 2-3, 1-2, 1-3, 1-2. I'm going to agree with that. I think that we just have, and I think it's only just got Cardiff ahead on this one. It could be a draw, but I'm going to go with the 2 people who said Peterborough 1, Cardiff 2. How about 2-2? I bet the odds on that are quite good. Reading versus Lincoln next, and Reading in 6, Lincoln in 1, and you really can't stop this Lincoln side, can you? Reading lose, draw, win, lose, win, draw. Last 2 games, Wigan 3-0 win at home, and a Huddersfield 1-1 win away. Huddersfield, this is the 90 plus 6 minute equaliser, and Reading did absolutely everything wrong, I think, in this game. They didn't get to grips with it. They got that penalty, and like I said, it was just like shut up shop and try not, and it nearly worked. It really did. I bet the fans were thinking, we nearly nicked 3 points out of God knows nowhere there. But it's the dogged determination that does that. A side that does that shows courage, it shows class, and it shows the teamliness in there, the team bonding. Against Lincoln, first place. What chance have they got? Win. Draw 2-2 against Huddersfield. Win 3-0 against Rotherham. And win 1-0 at home to Wimbledon. And I really thought that they should have made it 2 or 3-0, really. It's just that they seem to just sit back and underestimate this Wimbledon side for me. And although Wimbledon really, they only had 1 shot on target, so this Lincoln side just had to try and break the Wimbledon back line down, and it just couldn't. So that is a bit of a point. That style of defence, does that really mess up the Lincoln attack? Much like it did when Birmingham were in this league. They found the League One very difficult to break down. The parking the bus at the back. Lincoln can do that as well. So Reading versus Lincoln then. 1-1, 1-2, 2-3, 1-1, 1-2, 1-2. 3 of you are saying that out of the ones I've said. Reading 1, Lincoln 2. I think, it could be a 1-1. It could be a 1-1. Just watch out for that one, Reading fans. Stevenage, part of the bus and see if it works, is my response to that one. Stevenage versus Blackpool next. Stevenage in 7th, Blackpool in 18th. And Stevenage in 7th. They need a win here to because of that gap between them and fifth place certainly is starting to get. I think if it grows by another 3, they can forget that gap. Then it's just to sixth place, isn't it? So Stevenage. Win, lose, win, draw. Last time out, a 0-0 draw to Rotherham. Rotherham got Dan Gore sent off on 88 minutes for a double yellow. To me, Rotherham really should have done something here. They did actually, I think, control a lot of this game. It's a lot better than what they have played. 10 shots for Rotherham, 1 on target, none in the net. 11 shots for Stevenage, 3 on target, none in the net. I think Rotherham's game was pretty much. I think 0-0 was probably a good scoreline here. 1-1, 0-0 would probably have been fair. There's a few real bad decisions by referees again, but well, you can't complain about that in League One, can we? So that's the Stevenage games. Blackpool, up and down, aren't you? Where the hell are they going? Lose, win, draw, win. And I say up and down because you've got Wimbledon defeat 4-1, a Doncaster defeat 2-1, and everybody's thinking this Blackpool side has got to pull it up, hasn't it? In 18th position, I think it's safe. Well, it should be a win against Port Vale 3-2, a draw against Cardiff 0-0, brilliant game. Burton 1-0 home win. Yeah, took the foot off the gas there, I think. Blackpool 1, Exeter 0. Blackpool here should have made this at least 2 or 3-0. Blackpool were sailing here for me. Exeter did a good job in defence, though, to try and make sure it didn't go further than 1-0. And that's what makes it difficult for me, because you know that Blackpool, if you get a good defence, then they just don't always play as good against a solid defence. Stevenage can have a solid defence. I mean, Rotherham certainly couldn't get past it, and we're quite improved. And a good Plymouth side only got 1 past it, so I'm sort of tempted to think Stevenage have a decent chance here of even though they're sort of up and down, and Blackpool do seem to be getting the points. I think it's who they're getting them against: Port Vale, Burton and Exeter. So what are you thinking with this one? Stevenage, Blackpool. 1-0, 2-0, 0-3. You're swayed by that, aren't you? 2-1, 1-0, 1-0. So 3 people have said that. I'm going to agree with you. Stevenage 1, Blackpool 0. That's probably a good bet, that one. Wycombe versus Bradford in the last games from the Monday fixtures, of course, is Wycombe in 8th, Bradford in 4th. Now, Bradford do play better at home, I think. They are just nicking those points when they need to. Wycombe Wanderers lose, win, lose, win, lose. Win against Port Vale 4-0, but then they lost 3-0 against Stockport County. And that defence can be quite rocky, and yet Wycombe 12 shots, 3 on target, none in the net. Of course, the home side here had less possession, 17 shots, 11 of them on target, 3 in the net. It is worth saying, though, that Wycombe had a hugely better performance as passing. Their short passing was brilliant, and they did pass better. They got more connected passes than Stockport. It was just, and they had more of the ball, and it was just really good. Play from Wycombe, they just couldn't stop the defence. They just couldn't stop Stockport from shooting, let alone scoring. 17 shots from Stockport there. So that I'm a little bit worried about that Wycombe side. You know, it can be really good, and then Cardiff 2-0 win. You know, brilliant, and then it can really be rocky. And as if they not turned up. Bradford win, lose, draw, lose, win. Put that one in your tongue. Say that one quickly. The wins, Orient and Port Vale. Good wins, 2-1 and 2-0, making sure they do exactly what they need to win the game. A disappointing 2-0 defeat against Wigan, but you know they have been playing well at the time. And a changeable Mansfield side 1-1. Burton Town 2-1 defeat, and that is a real stinker for me. Where did that come from? Bradford, though, versus Northampton. Bradford 1-0 against Northampton. We did cover this earlier. Bradford should have made this 2 or 3-0. 18 shots to Bradford, 7 of them on target, and only 1 in the net. Like I said earlier, if they can get the click up front, those 7 could have got four goals instead of 1. So it's Wycombe versus Bradford, and Bradford are starting to fire for me. 2-0, 1-1, 2-3, 1-1, 1-1, and 3-1. Is somebody on alcohol? Because I'd love whatever you're drinking. I'm going to go for one of my own. I'm not going to go for any of those. I'm going to go for Wycombe 1, Bradford 3. Let's get on. And we'll go to a Tuesday game, which of course is because of the FA Cup game for Port Vale. And we'll have a look at this. Port Vale then. We've got draw, lose, win, draw, lose. Draw, lose, for heaven's sake, say that again. Draw, lose, win, lose, lose, lose. Last time out, 7-0 thrashing by Chelsea. And I mean, they started on 2 minutes, for God's sake. And did Chelsea. 20 shots for Chelsea, 11 of them on target, 7 in the net. That's class. I tell you what, Port Vale had 4 shots. None on target, but they had 4 shots. For me, if you're trying to be being critical, there was absolutely no chance of even intercepting any of the passes. They were really, really outdone on the passing, which I would have hoped they'd have gone back into defence and tried to play them from the back over the top, or play them on a rush ball sort of thing. Didn't work anyway. 4-0 defeat before that at Wycombe. Let's have a look. Wycombe 4, Port Vale 0. Just when I'm thinking that they could do better, Wycombe had twice as many shots, 21. You see, this is it. Port Vale allowed Wycombe 21 shots. You know, they only allowed 20 to Chelsea. 9 of these on target. Yeah, 4 in the net for Wycombe. What did Port Vale do? 10 shots, 2 on target. You know, very similar stats with a different class team. Interesting point. Rotherham draw, lose 5-0 against Peterborough. Then we get a new manager, lose 3-0 against Lincoln City. We didn't have a chance to win. And then Stevenage last time out, 0-0, lost Dan Gore for a second yellow. And I think that this is a side that's showing it can. We had, I think we had good spells and bad spells. It is an improved side. Can it pull on that disappointment of letting 11 goals in 2 games, even if it was against Chelsea, most of them? For the Port Vale, what do you think? Vale versus Rotherham, 1-1. 2-1, 2-2, 0-0, 2-1, 2-1. Well, 3 people have gone for it, and I think it could be the other way round, but we're going to go with you. Port Vale 2, Rotherham 1. I'm going to swap that one round, but I think that mental side of being thumped 7-0, you'll either come out fighting and win 2-1, or you'll just think, shit, that was a hell of a game, and you'll feel battered and bruised. It was only on Saturday, wasn't it? So it's Friday. It was only on Friday, so it's really. It was on Saturday, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Saturday. So they're going to be feeling pretty battered and bruised still on a Tuesday. So let's see what happens there. Remember, do like and subscribe to John Esser Sports Channel, and I'll see you with the next League One predictions. Like and subscribe.